Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 6, Tales of the Ossianic Cycle. The fair Giantess. Again, let us turn to the tale of the fair Giantess. One day, Finn and his warriors, while resting from the chase for the midday meal, saw coming towards them a towering shape. It proved to be a young giant maiden, who gave her name as Vivian. Bethion, daughter of Trean, from the land of the maidens. The gold rings on her fingers were as thick as an ox's yoke, and her beauty was dazzling. When she took off her gilded helmet, all bejeweled, her fair and curling golden hair broke out in 70 tresses, and Finn cried, "Great gods, whom we adore, a huge marvel, Cormac and Ethne, and the woman of the Fianna would esteem it to see Vivian, the blooming daughter of Trean." The maiden explained that she had been betrothed against her will to a suitor named Ada, son of a neighboring king, and that hearing from a fisherman who had been blown to her shores of the power and nobleness of Finn, she had come to seek his protection. While she was speaking, suddenly the Fianna were aware of another giant form close at hand. It was a young man, smooth-featured and of surpassing beauty, who bore a red shield and a huge spear. Without a word, he drew near, and before the wondering Fianna could accost him, and he thrust his spear through the body of the maiden and passed away. Finn, enraged at this violation of his protection, called on his chiefs to pursue and slay the murderer. Kielta and others chased him to the seashore and followed him into the surf, but he strode out to sea and was met by a great galley, which bore him away to unknown regions. Returning discomfited to Finn, they found the girl dying. She distributed her gold and jewels among them, and the Fianna buried her under a great mound and raised a pillar stone over her with her name in Ogham letters, in the place since called the Ridge of the Dead Woman. And so in Oghams you pronounce whatever the Ogham is, but don't think that you necessarily know how to spell things in Oghams if you don't. Or ohms, okay, I forget, it's ohms. In this tale here we have, besides the element of mystery, that of beauty. It is an association of frequent occurrence in this period of Celtic literature, and to this, perhaps, is due the fact that altogether these tales seem to come from no whither, and to lead no whither, but move in a dream world, where there is no chase, but seems to end in fairyland, and no combat that has any relation to earthly needs or objects, where all realities are apt to dissolve in a magic light, and to change their shape like morning mist, yet they linger in the memory with that haunting charm which has for many centuries kept them alive by the fireside of the Gallic peasant. And the Fianna raised a pillar stone with her name in home characters. And I think they're just faking it. I know it's art, but I like when they're going to mention a name that they don't fake hieroglyphs or ohms or something else that they figure people can't read. That's why in my art I like to look things up if I don't know something and to insert into my art. But my art's didactic too. It's not so much representative as it is teaching. And perhaps the Babylon is where we get the nickname, people calling people baby, as sort of a term of endearment. That could be the real origin. Might not be, but